And if Israel doesn't want members of the United States Congress to visit their country to get a firsthand look at what's going on, and I've been there many, many times, but if he doesn't want members to visit, maybe he can respectfully decline the billions of dollars that we give to Israel.
If you don't know much about American politics, you might see no possible controversy about what Senator Bernie Sanders just suggested there, when in fact, for Washington elites, it's sacrilege. No pun intended. Maybe. In case you missed it, President Trump on Twitter, of course, called upon Israel to ban Representatives Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar, two Muslim American congresswomen who have been vocal in support of Palestinian rights, from entering Israel. They hate Israel and all Jewish people, he tweeted, which is egregious, and Israel obliged. This came after Representatives Tlaib and Omar said that they wanted to visit Israel for diplomatic purposes, while still holding true to their substantial criticisms of Israel's apartheid-like conditions and the right-wing government of Israel's consistent second-class treatment of the Palestinian people. Israel's ambassador to the US said reluctantly that they were welcome to visit, until the Trump tweet. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's government on Thursday barred two members of the United States Congress from entering Israel for an official visit, reversing a previous decision to admit two of the president's most outspoken critics. Rashida Tlaib's grandmother lives in the occupied territories, so not a great look. Because of this, Israel reversed its decision under the condition that Tlaib censor herself while she was there. She wasn't having that because, by the way, they're still barring entry to Omar. But that brings me back to Bernie Sanders, who went on national television and openly talked about how Israel's nearly $4 billion in annual aid given to them by the US should be reconsidered based on their actions, because they have no incentive to change if, no matter what they do, we keep pouring money into their pockets. This is a deeply brave thing to say in Washington. While Elizabeth Warren was the first presidential candidate out of the gate to criticize Israel's decision, she didn't say that. Neither did Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who did say she wouldn't visit the nation if her colleagues Tlaib and Omar were barred. Part of the reason for this is, let's be real, Bernie Sanders being a Jewish American. He's shielded from the bad faith smears by the right wing of anti-Semitism that are hurled at people, particularly brown people, who advocate for Palestinian rights. But it's still enormously gutsy, because that's what Bernie does. He, like Jon Snow unsheathing his sword against that wall of horses barreling at him, when that show was still good, by the way, stands up for what is right, no matter the political pressure and opposition. And political pressure and opposition when it comes to Israel is enormous. Pro-Israel right-wing groups like AIPAC have been steadily increasing their pouring of money into the political system for the past 20 years, and the results are obvious. Why do you think we're seeing this staggering influx of smears and anti-Semitism against the left? Follow the money. AIPAC's lobbying and campaign contributions have actually been much less than the huge influx of cash into US politics from mega donors Sheldon Adelson and his wife Miriam, who was born in Israel. They were the largest donors in the 2018 midterm elections, with $123 million, all of that to Republican political action committees that then funneled millions to incumbents in tough races. And their primary issue, besides tax cuts for the rich, ensuring Israel is able to continue to break international law, as outlined by the UN, occupy Palestinian territory, and ideally for them, eventually conquer it all. So we're giving humanitarian aid to a nation, without question, that is spitting in the proverbial faces of our Muslim American lawmakers and committing human rights abuses against Palestinians, as has been recognized by the United Nations. There is nothing humanitarian about that. The weight of the money is all on one side, and Bernie Sanders is the only presidential candidate willing to take on that specific money. No kid gloves, no mincing words. This is the political courage that we've seen his entire career on display once again. And per usual, it's beyond impressive.